Mhm. Hello, fam. I want to take a couple of minutes just to introduce myself. I am Estella of Estella Creates, Estella Writes, Estella Reads, and now Estella Speaks. And so I have several verticals. I write on Medium. At this point, I'm at 168 articles on Medium. I'm actually in the middle of writing 169 right now. But wanted to stop and introduce myself to the YouTube audience that I'm going to be creating. In the process of writing 168 articles on Medium, I've decided I want to branch out from being a writer and going into being an author. So I was working on some children's books back a few years ago, 2019-ish, and I tried to self-publish, but I've been really struggling with getting illustrators that can bring that book to life. And so I realized that I needed to go the route of querying and trying to go the traditional route. And maybe then I can get a publisher or get a illustrator that can actually assist me on this journey of bringing this book, this very vibrant book, to life. So I'm going to take y'all on my query journey. And so throughout this process, I'm going to be going live as I go through things to explain what I'm learning as I'm learning it through the query process. To date, I have queried 34 different agencies and I've received 5 rejections so far. But from what I've learned, you're going to query about 60 to 70 different agencies in the hopes of getting that book traditionally published. Your goal with an agent really is to find someone who is going to be selling that book for you to publishers. The process and the pipeline that many traditional publishers have is that they want you to have an agent. They don't want to have unsolicited books sent to them. They want to go through the agent. They know that book has been vetted through an agency, whether it's for editing or whether it's for marketability and commercial sale. And so I am literally, as of February, started the process of querying various agents to see if my book will sell and will it sell on the commercial market. Now, back in 2019 is when I actually wrote the book. The book is based off of a little rhyme that came to me when my rainbow baby was born. So I wrote the book back in 2019, but tabled it because life hit. Also in 2019, it was actually a few months before COVID hit nationally, and they brought in the quarantine bans. So I lived in the DMV at the time, and so COVID was happening in the DMV, but we didn't have a quarantine ban. Where I lived in the DMV, I was about 15 minutes from an international airport, actually about 20 minutes from an international airport, and it was heavily. It was a very diverse area, but had a lot of immigrants in the area as well. And so had to table the book, focused on work. I worked in logistics at the time. And so whereas a lot of businesses were being tabled and shut down, business for us increased because people shopping online increased. And so had to table the book. Throughout that process was looking for illustrators. I'd already written the book, had taken it through its initial editing processes, but really needed to find illustrators. So at the table of my search for illustrators, well, I revisited the book back in 2022, took it through a Storyteller Academy, and that's actually the name of the program I took it through, was Storyteller Academy, where I was able to meet other aspiring children's book authors, and we went through critique groups, and we were able to critique our books. And that's a whole nother conversation, the benefits of a critique group, what is a critique group, things of that nature. But took it through the critique group process, was able to meet one of the agents that's like a mentor for the program. She went through the book with me. She vetted it and thought it was a book that could be traditionally published. And then I froze. It's like, yay, I have a book that could be traditionally published. But I froze at that point. And I stopped looking for agents. Also, during that time, I was dealing with physical illness due to having COVID multiple times throughout the pandemic. And yes, so I recognize the pandemic is still going on, but throughout the pandemic, I had COVID multiple times and had to stop and deal with the health issues that occurred from that. I also had a little one that I was taking out of the traditional setting or the model of education that we have. So as you know, when they're little, we take them to daycare. And then as they get older, we transition them into some kind of schooling. Well, I had taken her out of daycare and placed her in a Montessori school, but it really wasn't a good fit for her at the moment. So I was bringing her into the homeschooling structure where I had to take time and take her through a process called deschooling. And now we're also homeschooling. So all that's happening while I'm trying to get this published. Well, I revisited the book this year at the beginning of the year, and I said, okay, I'm still struggling as far as illustrators go. Let's see if we can go through the traditional actual publishing process. And so that is where I am. And so what I'm going to do is take you guys with me on this journey of traditional publishing. Again, I've queried over 30 agents, and I'm going to be going through that and saying, okay, this is what some agents required. This is what other agents have required. This is what the query process looked like for me. And you'll hear my struggles, my failures, my wins throughout this process. I look forward to connecting with you guys and sharing this journey with you.